Hey guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life, the channel that talks all things Wentworth and sometimes Prisoner. Speaking of Prisoner, in today's video I am going to be taking a look at Prisoner Cell Block H episode 31, B. Smith's Escape. Now, as the episode title suggests, B does end up escaping from her hospital bed. Now, it's not quite in the same way as the Wentworth version of B. Smith escaping, but it's still awesome. So Vera comes into the hospital to check on B, and Vera tells her that she will be coming back to the prison the day after tomorrow. Now, when Vera leaves the room with the police escort for, a little chat, B ends up reading Mum's letter, and of course Mum has given B her address. So when the doctor gives B a sleeping tablet, she ends up not swallowing it and she keeps it for the next night where she gets another sleeping tablet. This is when B ends up spiking the police escort's coffee. Very clever. Now the police lady ends up falling asleep, and this is when B makes her escape during the night time. She sneaks out of her hospital bed, she then gets a change of clothes and she heads over to Mum's flat. Of course, Mum is shocked to see B standing on her doorstep, but Mum lets her straight in and makes her a drink. Now, I bloody just love Mum. She had no hesitation letting B into her flat, and you know what? That is true friendship. Judith Ann isn't very pleased to see her. She's concerned that if the police come looking for B, then Mum will have broken her parole and she's going to end up back in prison, which I can totally understand and I can see Judith's point of view, but Mum isn't someone who turns anyone away. Now, B does assure Mum and Judith Ann that she just needs a few days to rest, get her bearings, and then she will head off, and things seem to be going smoothly. That is until when Jean Vernon telephones Mum wondering where she is. Now, Mum was supposed to have a meeting, like a parole meeting with Jean, and she just totally forgot. Mum tells Jean that she isn't feeling very well, but she will go and see her when she's feeling better. However, Mum is in for the shock of her life when she opens up her front door and Meg is standing there. Like, what? Is Meg about to rumble B. Smith in Mum's flat? Well, we'll just have to wait and see in the next episode, but I am really enjoying this storyline at the moment. So with B. Smith on the run, this leaves Monica Ferguson as top dog in the prison, and Monica is already starting to get a little bit too big for her boots. Monica tells Lizzie and Doreen that they are going to help her teach Nolene Burke a lesson, and when Doreen says that she doesn't want to get involved, and she then implies that B would never force them to do anything that they didn't want to do. Monica then grabs Doreen by the arm and says, "You reckon I'm not as good as B, do you?" Ooh, the power is starting to go to Monica's head. So Doreen and Lizzie, they do end up being forced into helping Monica. And in the shower block, Doreen pretends to suck up to Nolene and runs her shower for her. But little does Nolene know, Doreen has actually turned on the very hot tap to basically scald her. Now when Nolene steps in, Monica and the women, they close the shower door behind her and force her under the hot tap. Lizzie is using her bad heart to distract the officers, and when they hear screaming coming from the shower block, they all descend. Monica manages to use the excuse that they were trying to help Nolene because the door was stuck, but it's quite clear to Meg Jackson that trouble is brewing. Also, if you pause the moment where Nolene is thrown into the shower cubicle just before the door closes, you do get a clear shot of her breasts. I'm not sure if this was an accident or deliberate, but you do see them. Nolene ends up retaliating by taking it out on Doreen's teddy bear, when Nolene ends up ripping the bear apart and beheads the teddy bear, and this really upsets Doreen. But luckily, Karen Travis manages to repair the teddy bear for Doreen, and Karen also gives Nolene and Monica some harsh words too, but will Karen get a little bit too big for her boots? She might have got away with it with B from time to time, but will she get away with it from Monica? Over to Clara Goddard now, who in the last episode dropped a bombshell saying that she thinks that she was about to be arrested. It turns out that Clara has been fiddling the books. She has embezzled around $250,000. However, she didn't keep the money for herself. She embezzled the money to help these charities that she was doing for everyone. So Clara ends up going to court and she is then remanded into Wentworth Detention Centre. And when Clara tells Monica and the women how much money she has swindled, they end up cheering for her, which is actually quite hilarious. But just how is Clara going to cope in prison going forward? Over to Lynn Warner now, who is growing closer to Sid Butterfield's son, Jeff. Jeff is even picking Lynn up from the prison and giving her a lift to work, and this doesn't go down well with Mr. Butterfield. He can see the pair of them getting closer. Sid tells son Jeffrey that he doesn't want him hanging out with Lynn anymore, and the pair of them end up in a massive row. So Sid ends up going to see Jean Vernon at the prison, and he tells her that he cannot employ Lynn anymore. He doesn't want her to suffer, and he really hopes that Jean can find other work for Lynn, but he makes it very clear that he doesn't want Lynn spending any more time with her son. I mean, talk about controlling behaviour from a parent. Naughty Mr. Butterfield. I dread to think how Lynn is going to take this news in the next episode. Over to Vera, who is still missing George Lucas terribly. Well, fear not. He comes back to see her in this episode, which makes Vera very, very happy. However, her happiness is short-lived. Vera tells George about Anne's letter, and he tells Vera that she is going to have to report him to the police. That way it will prove that Vera has no involvement in all of this mess. Now, I thought that was quite nice of George to do that for Vera. It shows that he genuinely does love her and care for her. So Vera ends up ringing the police, telling them that she's just seen George and where to now find him. Now, this should, basically it should put Vera in the clear, at least for now. Oh, poor Vera. All in all, not a bad episode. The Clara Goddard stuff was a little bit of a bore fest for me, but I am looking forward to seeing her interaction with the other women in the prison going forward. My favourite part of this episode has to be that moment with Nolene Burke in the showers, and my least favourite moment has to be all of the Clara Goddard scenes. But let's hear some of your thoughts on this episode. What do you guys think about Clara Goddard? Be honest. And do you think Mr. Butterfield overstepped the mark with his son and Lynn? Let me know everything in the comments box below. Okay then guys, well thank you all for watching today's Prisoner special video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye guys.